Hello everyone and welcome to the Hidden Lives of Writers. My name's Fiona Snickers and I'm joined by my co-host Gail Schimmel.
Hi Fiona.
Hi Gail, how has your writing week been?
So, my writing week has been a bit frustrating because I think I talked about the fact that I wanted to write a play. I can't remember if I'd started it.
Yes.
So I found some free software that makes your play look all beautiful like a play. And I started writing and I was getting into it. I was getting my flow back. I was getting into kind of feeling a bit creative again. And then an edit came in for the latest Katie Gail. And I had to stop because we get a very short time to edit when we are. So, edits go structural edit, copy edit, proofread edit. And we've done the structural edit and this was the copy edit. Copy edits are generally quite easy. Move this word here, put this comma here, and you just go fine, and it takes maybe 2 hours. But we have a very meticulous copy editor, and she picks up inconsistencies. And this was a big copy edit in a small copy edit's time frame. So it was hectic. So I couldn't do anything else except work and do the edit. And I feel like I've lost my creative buzz again, and I'm going to now, the edit's in, now I've got to find that creative buzz again. So I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated. And you, Fiona?
Well, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to do a bit of a reread of that play and get back into the flow of it.
Yes. And re-plug into, I feel like this year, every time I've got into flow, something has interrupted me. And I'm really missing that feeling of being in full creative flow, and I'm really frustrated.
Right.
How about you, Fiona? Are you frustrated?
I am feeling a bit of trepidation at the moment because I know I've got to get my manuscript out of the drawer and I've got to start working on it. And at the same time, I've got to be doing academic writing. And just this morning, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed with the thought of, okay, I'm going to be doing creative writing and I'm going to be doing academic writing. How am I going to do this? How am I going to juggle my time? And I realized I've just got to go back to the way I've always done this. Just fall back on the tried and tested method, which for me is saying 400 words on that manuscript and 400 words on that manuscript, and set a timer and see if you can do it within that certain amount of time and just plug away at it each day. And I know that for the creative project, there's about 20,000 words that need to be rewritten or written again from scratch. And on the academic project, there's about 50,000 words that needs to happen. And I just need to do the maths with a calculator, work out how many days it's going to take me, whether I need to include weekends or not. And then when I've got it down to number of 100 words per day, I will feel calm and I will know that this is now doable and I will be able to do it.
It's funny how uncreative the creative process sometimes is. Like sometimes it is a spreadsheet of words per day kind of thing. And that's what gets the creativity flowing.
Absolutely. Very true.
And on the academic project, do you have a deadline?
I have the sort of ideal deadline and then the plan B deadline and then the you don't even really want to go there deadline. So, I would love to do it to the ideal deadline, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. But I'll work it all out. I'll sit down with a piece of paper and my calculator and I'll work it out. And once I've done that, I know I'm going to feel much freer and calmer about the whole thing.
I'm looking forward to hearing how you feel when we next chat.
And Gail, what have you been reading or watching or listening to lately?
So I'm tempted to talk about TV because I really am doing my best at my goal of watching more TV, but I'm watching things that everyone else has watched already. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the new Nikki French. Nikki French is a husband and wife duo who write thrillers, and their thrillers are really another level. I've always found them. They're very thrilling. I listened to a podcast, don't ask me what or where, with them talking about their process and talking about their latest book. And I need to read this book immediately. It is called The Last Days of Kira Mullen. it helps that I have a very good friend called Kira, so the name already kind of attracted me. And I read it on holiday, and it was a perfect holiday read. It absolutely gripping and fascinating and disturbing. It has a woman as the protagonist who has a history of mental health issues. She has a history of paranoid schizophrenia, so she hears voices. And she thinks people are out to get her, and she's been hospitalized. And now she's out of hospital, and her husband is looking after her, and they're making a new start, and they move into a new place. It's not very nice. There's been a bit of a financial drop because of everything that's happened to them. And the day after they move in, I want to say, the downstairs neighbor is found hanging in her little, I don't even want to call it an apartment because it's also grubby. It's a grubby little flat. And the protagonist has a feeling that this is not a suicide, but nobody else thinks so. And when she starts saying, but I saw this and I heard this,
they think it's her mental illness.
She ends up locked up.
Oh dear.
In a mental hospital. And it creates this enormous tension because you're with her in this hospital and it's too terrible, and you're right there with her. They're writing, you are locked up and you are sane and you don't know how to prove that you're sane. And it is too awful, but also such a gripping read. And then twists and turns. I read it as an ebook, and one of the ways I know I've really loved a book is when it is so readable and so gripping that I force my husband, who only reads hard books and very seldom reads books, to buy a hard copy of the book. And I did it with this one. He is now slowly making his way through a hard copy of this, and we will see. The real test will be, does he finish? What about you, Fiona? How's your reading, listening, consuming time been?
It's reading. I'm also going to talk about reading. And this was a recommendation from Paige Nick, actually. Might have been on the Good Book Appreciation Society, where she said that Lori Gottlieb, who is the therapist for one of the major American newspapers, has written a memoir called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone. And it's about her life as a therapist, and also at a time when she undergoes a personal crisis and has to go to therapy for it. So she is in therapy as a patient, and she's continuing to work as a therapist with very difficult patients. So she gives you this kind of dual view of her most difficult, intractable patients, who are really, some of them, completely insufferable, but then also her, who is being the most insufferable patient, because she doesn't want her therapist to break through. She's had this breakup where a boyfriend who was about to become a husband, was about to become a stepfather to her child, was about to move in permanently, suddenly opts out and says, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take on responsibility for a young child. So he seems to have gone from being 100% on board to just dipping out completely. And she is so fixated on the injustice of this that she refuses to consider that there might have been anything else going on in their lives that could have been leading up to this. And she's very stubborn and very intractable, while also herself dealing with these stubborn and intractable patients. It's very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to carrying on with it. Paige, I remember, said that this was the right book for her at the time. It also feels like the right book for me at the time.
Very interesting premise. I'll be interested. You're doing that dangerous thing, Fiona, where you discuss
I haven't finished it.
You're going to have to come back and go, sorry, that was terrible, don't read it, or that was amazing, do read it. I will wait till you're finished before I go anywhere near it.
Well, someone who writes books that everybody considers to be the book of the moment is our guest today. Our guest today is Takalani M. Takalani is the author of the Royal Mistress series, a novel called A Burning Desire, and the After Dawn series. Takalani, we are so excited to have you in the studio today. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Fiona. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
We're very, very excited to talk to you about all sorts of things, but obviously we're going to start where we always do. How has your writing week been?
It has been hectic, because I love to say this since I had my last born. I've got 3 kids now. When I had my last born, I was like, okay, now I feel like a mom because of how hectic everything is. I have a toddler and then I have this baby and then I have, my firstborn is in grade 4. So everything is hectic. I just have to squeeze everything in 24 hours and it is never enough. But luckily this week I'm not at work, because when I'm not writing, I am in finance. So I was not at work this week because of the holidays, the school holidays. So I could squeeze in the writing time when the kids are sleeping, taking a nap, and also just after a long day. And it has not been my usual writing because I'm working on a proposal that I want to send to a publisher. So I am very technical and, it's different from when I flow with my other work because here I'm like, at the back of my mind, I know, okay, this is a proposal, you must, it must be exciting and it must also be impressive. So I think it has been quite hectic, not my usual, but yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. Yeah.
And when you are just in your flow and you're writing a book, you're actually writing the words of the book, and you are working and you are being a mom, how do you fit that in? Like how many words a day? What time of day? How are you doing that? We're very interested in juggling.
And particularly with a small baby, because I know that's the point of life where you stop being able to write in the evening because you're so tired at the end of the day, like you.
Yes. I cannot imagine a life without my nanny, who's been with me for like 9 years. And I cannot imagine my life without my husband because those people are the ones who make it happen for me. So my normal day is waking up at 5 o'clock, just starting my day, just an hour to myself before everyone wakes up. Sometimes it is doable, sometimes it's not. And I've learned not to kick myself if it doesn't happen. So I start my day very early and, just have an hour to myself, either maybe reading sometimes and then writing sometimes, and then get ready for work. And I wait for, the noise in the morning. Everyone is getting ready. Finish up. Let's go. So that is my life every day. Until we leave the house, I start work at 8 o'clock. And I finish at 4:30 and then now stuck in traffic. I'm trying to fit in gym here and there. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And then I come back to be with the kids, say dinner. I'm cooking dinner. I'm having a chance with my husband here and there. We're talking business. All that is happening in 2 hours because 8 o'clock, the kids must go back to sleep. And also there's homework as well. Like it's chaos. Like, I live in chaos and I am so used to it by now. But that is my life. And only at 8:30 when I kick everyone out of the house to their bedrooms. I'm like, okay, can I now have a chance to now work? Only then do I get a time to lock myself in the study and then I would write. Usually I would do 2.5 words a day.
What? 2,500?
Yeah, a day. Mostly,
after that day that you just described.
I think it's natural because I'm in finance, but I hate it so much. And then when it comes to writing, it goes with it. I don't even have to think about anything. I just flow. I love it. I take each day as it comes. So whenever I go to that room, I can write 2.5 words. And I think it is because I've been doing it for years. And when I started my writing, okay, not before long when I was younger, but when I started in 2017, when I started a community on Facebook, I used to write a chapter a day. or maybe 3 times a day. 3 times a week, sorry. So I would write a chapter a day, which is about 2,000 words to 2.5 words. So that, because now everybody is expecting the chapter, then I got used to, okay, let me do this. And then it became easy. I've been doing it for like 7 years now. So it comes easy. It's doable. I knew that it's doable. And then I enjoy it because it is my passion. Finance, don't even ask me what is 500 multiplied by 2 or whatever, because I don't even want to think about it. But I'm in finance, but when it comes to writing, I can, if I have to sleep for 3 hours, I'm willing to do so.
Well, that was my question. How long do those 2,500 words take you?
Around 3 hours.
Okay, so that, now watch me count on my fingers. So you are 8:30, 9:30, 11.
Yes.
And you're going to get up at 5.
I'm going to get up at 5, sometimes at 6. Latest at 6, because if I don't wake up at 6, then my day is just going to be horrible.
Fiona, can we end this interview now? She's making me tired. I need to go and have a little nap.
I love it so much when my husband tells me, I've got soccer tonight, there's soccer at 10 o'clock. And then I'm like, okay, yes, you're going to be watching soccer and I'm going to be doing my writing. And I think that is why I said that I don't imagine my life with my husband, because even when I started, it was because he would say, you know what, right, I'll be watching a movie, and then he'll be lying on the couch there, and then I'll be sitting, and then I'll be writing, and then it became our bonding time, because in all that chaos, we don't have time for ourselves. Like, the time that we have is only when we're talking business, when we're talking, okay, can I write, and can you please watch something so that I can write, and then you wait for me, then we'll go to bed. And then we incorporate those date nights, because you know what, if we don't tune out all this work, then what about our relationship? So I think, I have the right partner, who has my back and who holds my hand in these. And I think it became part of our lives. And then now it's kind of a norm. Like, it's something that we do. And even the kids now know, oh, mommy is going to, are you writing? Okay, yes, I'm writing. And then, are you reading? And then the reading, I do it.
Just when?
I think I'm more into audiobooks now, because when I'm running errands, I can be listening. When I'm driving, I can be listening. I've taught myself to concentrate while I'm also listening, because that was, at some point, that was the only time that I can listen to a book. But with the reading, lunchtime at work, that 1 hour, that 45 minutes, I can have my lunch and then I have a book. And then that is how I juggle my life, because it is chaotic. And then I just have to make it work, because if I don't, everything is just going to crumble down, and then I'm not going to be happy. And if mommy is not happy, everybody is not happy. So I just have to make it work and then squeeze in every little thing, in my chaotic life.
Sure.
So we want to go back to that year, 2017. Did you know you were a writer before that? And what made you form that Facebook group and start putting those chapters online? And what was it initially, an audience of one person, or how did you build that audience?
Oh, yes. I think I started writing when I was in primary. I think grade 4, grade 5, because there was a time when I came across a book. I don't know why I didn't keep that book. I came across a book where I have a dialogue between a boy and a girl. I love love. I'm a romance writer. And then there was this, I was in grade 4. And then I wrote a boy and a girl, they meet for ice cream and something like that. And I have a little drawing there. So it started a long time ago. But I vividly remember, around, when I was in high school, grade 8, maybe prior to that as well. My dad used to be, he was a voice actor. In our radio station, we used to have a drama series. So they would act, so they would voice act. So he was one of those actors. So he would come home with scripts for him to rehearse. And they were pink, so they were inviting, So he would put them on the table, and then when he's not watching, I would read those things. And then I would imagine those things happening. So I was fascinated, like, wow, how is it that when I can read these things are playing in my head? So I mimicked that. I also wrote, I used to write like, like drama series, like dialogue. Yeah, dialogue. And then I would give my brothers, and then they would read and be like, wow, when are you writing more? And I'm like, oh, this is exciting, and then my dad passed away when I was in grade 9. And I think that if he didn't pass away then, I would have been an author from a very young age. But I come from Venda, I come from Limpopo. Even though we are not from the village, we are in a township, but reading for leisure is not quite a thing. Mm-hmm. And here's mom with 4 kids without a husband. And how do you tell me you want to write for a living? So it was too foreign for her. So I couldn't even, tell it that I want to be a journalist or whatever, because what is it? No. You are in commerce school. You need to study finance. And then I have to study finance. But on the side, I used to write like short stories and things like that until grade 12, when there was, I think dancing pencils. Felicity from Durban, she used to have these writing clubs for kids all over the country. So there was one lady who came to our school and then formed a book club. No, it was a church, and then they formed a book club, and then I wrote a short story and poetry, and then we published. And I was so excited. My very first story in grade 12 was published in a short story, but poetry, I sucked. It was very bad.
Me too.
It was horrible. I don't even want to read it. It was so bad. So I knew I was a storyteller because my story was so beautiful. It was a love story, still grade 12. So I knew that I could write. But I went to varsity. In 2004, I went to TUT. There was no time for writing. Now you are in a new environment. It was my first time leaving home. I'm in Pretoria and, I'm studying. Everyone is like looking at me like, okay, you are in varsity now. You want to see good marks. And I did incredibly well, but I was not writing at that time, because what is writing? My mom was like, you'll do this when you're working because now, you need to have a job and then finance, and that is what I did. I did have a job. And then I started working, but I knew that I don't like this thing. I have to go every day because bills. We growing up, bills needs to be paid, rent needs to be paid. You want to have a car. So obviously you must work. And then finance is the work that I knew. And then on the side, I would write. And then I felt like I wasn't good enough at some point because obviously you send your draft to, what do I know about publishing? I come from Venda. I don't know anyone who have published. So I didn't know the template. I didn't know how to do this thing. So I used to send like my manuscripts and then I'll be like, it's not good enough, or not even have a response. If you don't respond in 5 weeks, consider your manuscript not successful. So I went through that, but I think maybe 3 times or 2 times. I don't remember. But I kept writing now when I started working, because now I've got too much time. I don't have kids yet. So I've got time to myself. And so then I used to write until I came across Dudu Busani Dube. She self-published, her first book. So when I came across a book, it was not like a physical book, it was a PDF. So when I was reading, I was like, okay, this is like the way that I write. But what is it? Is it a book? What is it? Is it like a blog? What is going on? Until I realized that it was a book. Right, she started writing on a blog, and then now she moved into like a physical copy and things like that. So then I was fascinated, and I was like, okay, if people write like this, then okay, it means I have a chance in this thing. And then 2017, I had my son in January, and then I'm feeling like, okay, where do I start? I don't even know where to start. But luckily Dudu Busani Dube, she hosted like a mini small, seminar on how to publish a book, how to write a book, how to get it published, how to get it into the bookstores and things like that. So I attended, but I didn't know where to start. Where am I going to start? Who's going to buy my book? Who knows me? And then in December, I remember that vividly because I asked my husband, so where are we going this year for the holidays? And he's like, things are not quite good, so we might not be going anywhere this year. So in December period, everyone is gone. At work is very quiet. So when I come back home, you're just lying on the couch and watching TV, and I'm feeling like, no, it doesn't feel good, and I took some time from work as well because it's December, it's not busy. So I thought, okay, let me open a Facebook and start writing on Facebook and see how it goes. If it goes well, it does. If it doesn't, I won't lose anything.
I'm going to pause you. How did you even think of that?
No, because I've seen, at that time, I think I've seen a few people write on Facebook. Okay. I think there's Wattpad as well. And then there was Facebook as well. So I used to see, Facebook, writings, right? Yeah. And then at that time, Dudu had this big Facebook page, but she used to market her work. Like she used to tell us where she's going to launch or whatever. Like it was a small community. So I thought, okay, let me open a Facebook page as well. So I opened my page called Stories by Takalani M. It's still the same now. So yeah, 1 follower there, 2 followers, 3, 4, 5. And then I used to write, and then the next day, okay, we've got 20 people. Oh, we've got 50 people. And then I started writing. I think I was writing every day because I'm not at work. I only have one son. We have nothing to do. It's December. There's nothing to do. So I used to write every day. And then I think someone read my work, and then they went to this big community group where people read books, and they're like, guys, there's this new kid called Takalani M. She is writing nice stories there. Let's go. So then one day I'm sitting, and then I'm getting these notifications that people are liking the page. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? Okay, then I get excited. Okay, now we're starting working now because, I'm excited. Then I started writing. People are coming in. People are calling each other. I get to a point where I think I was in chapter 30 something, right? And then people were like, we want this book. Do you have a hard copy? I went to Exclusive Books and they don't have your book. And I'm like, no, guys, relax. It is just a story I'm just sharing with you guys. And they're like, no way. We want to have this book. We want to have this story. Can you please publish? I want to. So they kept on coming and saying, we went to Exclusive Books. We went here. We went there. To a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop here. I think we were at chapter 40. I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to try and polish it and then take it to the bookstores. And then I took like pre-order so that it can help me with the fund. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell the book for 300. So if you guys want to buy it, send me. And then once the book is ready, I will send it to you guys. And then I had I think I printed about 300, and then in a week they were finished. Wow. And then now because people see that, others have like a physical copy, they start going to the bookstores, and then the bookstores like, we don't know who this person is. We don't have this book. Until they come back to me like, we want this book. Why is everyone having the book? I don't have the book. I'm like, no. I started with a small printout because I didn't have money. So they're like, okay, so when are we going to have the book in the bookstores? And then now we were forced to produce a lot so that we can take to the bookstores. And luckily we went to mainland, because if you are not a distributor and you are an author, you can go to, I think at that time you could go to the bookstore, and then if the manager likes the book, they can take the book and then they put it in their shelves, and then, that's how it worked at that time. So we went to mainland. I forgot his name. I always go there sometimes. I was like, okay, here's coffee, because he put me on. He liked the book, and then he had someone from the store read the book, and then they loved it. So he ordered I forgot, I think maybe 50, because there was a lot there behind the the Acacias, there was like a line of my books there. That was the first time it was in bookstores. And now people now can see that, oh, this interesting book. And it looked cute. And then now the other stores, because now people are going, they can see it's on the system. Now they're ordering from mainland. Until now, we had to take it to all the bookstores. And that is how I started with the Royal Mistress. And then now we are on book 8 and going. So that's how it started.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's how it started.
I want to ask you about that, and this relates to writing process, because for me, the idea of just starting a book on Facebook is very frightening in that you can't then go back and fix that first chapter. So the way I write, chapter 1 might be wrong because I might in chapter 17 change my mind completely about where this book should be going.
Yes.
Did you plot it out beforehand? How did you protect yourself from that kind of problem?
Maybe I didn't give myself a chance to feel like that, because now I was writing in front of everyone's eyes. But there are some books which I did not write on Facebook, so I know how it feels. But you're talking about which I didn't go back, and I'm like, no. And this doesn't connect with what's going to happen in chapter 50, whatever. But with the Facebook stories, like I was just writing, taking each day as it comes. And what I think I used to write like a diary session kind of a way, where it's a day. It is not like weeks or months. So it was easy to, just go with the flow, take each day as it comes. And then, when it comes to the plot, I had an idea of how I want the story to go, but as I write, obviously, I'm changing my mind, and then I will change. And as well, the pressure of not having it being predictable, because people, we know this is going to happen. So I think I was always fighting myself with that. Okay, I don't want to be predictable. We're taking each day at a time. I've got this pressure of writing a chapter a day. But at some point I had to now tone it down to like, okay, 2 days a week. I can't do, because the pressure now is too much. But I think at that time when I was writing on Facebook, I didn't give myself a chance to feel the way that I felt when I was writing off from Facebook. Yeah. But then obviously after when the book is done, I will take it out. And if people want the copy, then I do the actual working. Now I go back to the manuscript and then fix what I need to fix, remove what I need to remove. And then, this is a published version. Yes.
So South African publishers have been trying for a long time to break into the Black woman market. And they've been looking at romance, and they've been looking at the kind of Mills and Boon formula for romance, and trying to take that formula and map it onto the South African situation. And that formula is, it's a young couple, it's the two of them only, and maybe they meet at work, or maybe they meet in some circumstances, and every scene is the two of them flirting and fighting and finding their way to each other. And there might be a few sub-characters, but nobody's got a child, nobody's got a family, the mother-in-law isn't a big issue, the community isn't a big issue. It's just focused on these two people almost in isolation and how they fall in love. And they tried to take this and say to Black women, here, do you like the story? And the answer was always no, we don't. And the traditional publishers could not crack into that market. And now there's you, there's Dudu, there's Busi Sekile, Kumalo, there are other people, and most of them started out as just one author finding a huge audience, and then the publishers come to them afterwards and say, oh, tell us your secrets. So what is it about the stories that you write that are not just a couple who almost seem to live in isolation, but there's a whole community? What is it that you have cracked that others weren't able to crack?
I think that the reason why everyone went crazy with my work, with Sekiles, with Dudus and everyone else who's also writing, It is how relatable our stories are. And it is because I know the issues that we are going through as Black women. So when I paint them out and then I bring them forth, another Black woman is going to say, okay, yes, these I relate to. And I've been using my work also they say that use your talent to like also share the information as well. So this is me taking a character, giving it life, and then putting it in a area where people can relate to. Oh, I know someone from Soweto. I know my neighbor is living like this. So it's like telling a story for our people, and then they can relate to that, and then also the issues that they're going through. I always say that we live in a man's world, where, it's easy for them. And I watch this with my husband. Like every time I'm like, oh, but I have to do all these things before I even do my work. But he can be able to work without having to stress about the kids. He can decide now, you know what, I'm going to relocate, and then I'm going to go work in America for a year, and then I'm going to come bring you guys here, and then, and. But I won't be able to do the same. Like even the way I was raised won't allow me to even have the guts to say I'm leaving my kids for 2 years with my husband. So it's those things that we know we are going through as Black women. And then now when we bring them out to light, someone else will be like, exactly what I am feeling and exactly what I'm going through. So yes, I want to know more about this. And then I want to know more about how they came with the solution. So I think I know what we're going through, and then which someone else might not be, unless if they go and do the research and maybe know someone who can tell them about them. But the template won't work, because you're just painting something and then, oh, okay, this is nice, but I have a child. Can I fall in love when I have a child and the father of my child is nowhere to be found? Oh, okay, that character found love with 2 kids, which means, okay, it is also possible for me. So it's also me giving them hope. Like, okay, you can, when all don't go well, there's still someone for you. Like, is painting those, characters for everyone to relate to. And I think that is what I've done. I try, and now that I've got 8 books, I go back. Okay, have I given this character a kiss before marriage? Okay, yes. Okay, so we're scratching that. We're going, okay, have this person been through these traumas, the traumas that I know that other young Black kids or Black people are going through. I bring them forth. I paint them out for people to see. People get to learn, like, okay, people are going through these which we don't know, all those things. So I think I could tell a better story than someone who's just using a template. Yeah.
Reading your reviews, one of the things that your readers really love is, more than sharing the Black woman's experience, you share something more specific, which is the vendor experience. Mm-hmm. And my feeling is that was an unexplored space. There are not a lot of vendor voices coming out. Talk to us about your decision to stick with that vendor experience.
Oh, yes. I think I did say when I started, like when I was back in high school, I'm thinking, who writes like me back at home here, who I can tell my mom and say, look at this person, they wrote books and then they're big or whatever. Like, I didn't have that. Whatever books that we have written were for the syllabus for school. So I couldn't even relate to anyone back at home. And then now I'm like, no, I know, Zulu is very big, here in Joburg and wherever, in KwaZulu-Natal. But then I want to read also about the vendor person. Like, where are we? Can I represent? So I stick to that, even though I go to other cultures as well. But because I know mine better, I obviously would tell it better. So that is what I decided. But when it came to Royal Mistress, because I come from Venda where the royal families are many, and rules are many and different, and I come from a township. So township, we're not too deep into the royalty and how they do things. I can research. I can ask people who are from there. So with the Royal Mistress, what I decided to do was to create a fictional area in Venda called Tabakuru, where I can incorporate the royal rules, and then if I miss one, then I'm safe, because I'll say, no, this place doesn't exist. You know? This place is a fictional place, so it doesn't exist. No, don't stone me. So that is what I did. But I did my research to know, okay, how are things done? How do they marry? What are they allowed to do? What are they not allowed to do? But then, do I miss anything? I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So then I created a fictional place. And then the other ones are like myself. I live in, I come to Joburg to find work, and then now I commute between Venda and where I stay now. So that part I know. And yeah.
Do you know whether any Venda royals have read your books and enjoyed them?
Yeah, I have.
Tell us about it.
I have, and it was so crazy because, what is her name? Is it Moabe? I forgot her name, but she was from, a royal family where they were having, I think they were fighting for who is the rightful heir for that royal family. So I think I wrote, my story in a way that she relates to what's happening there, because they have rules on who's gonna rule. And then now if someone was born out of wedlock or someone was born wherever, like it was crazy. So their story was very popular in Venda, because they were saying who was the rightful heir. It was the lady, but then they were saying in this family the ladies cannot be the chief, and so that was the first time that I've known that that's what. And then others will come and say, how do you know these things? Because you're not, I understand this is our life. This is our sacred life. How do you know how we live? And I'm like, I did my research. I did my research. And then also from observing almost every other fourth family is a royal family in Venda. So you get to know a lot. Yeah. Yes.
I want to ask, because a few years ago, I also released a book chapter by chapter online. And it meant that with each chapter, I would immediately, often that same day, I'd start getting comments from readers. And when they're loving it, it's great. But when they hating it, or they didn't like that you introduced this element or kill someone off or whatever, and you're getting all these negative comments, it kind of gets in your head, even if you try not to let it. And it starts affecting the way you plot the rest of the book and the way you structure it. And you see, okay, this character's working, this one is not. Did that immediate reader response affect the way you wrote? And do you still get responses from readers that affect the way you write or plan or plot? Because a lot of your books are in series, so you're keeping the story going.
Because I used to consume Facebook stories before I wrote mine, I made sure not to make that mistake, because sometimes I would be reading the story, and then because we engage in the comment section, I would see that, okay, this author, because I'm reading as an author and I'm also reading as a person who's enjoying the story, but I would tell that, nah, we are going this direction because people were complaining about how they hate this character. And then I'm like, no, it's predictable now. Now I can be able to see what's going to happen next because of how the engagement is going. So by the time I went to start writing my work, I knew that, okay, if I do that, I'm going to put people off. It's just going to be predictable. People are going to know what's going to happen. If we say, no, don't kill this person, then I'm not going to kill them. No, we hate this man. Let her divorce, and then they divorce. Then it's just going to be so mediocre. So I knew that I mustn't flow with everyone who's engaging. And also there was a point where I would not read the comments. I would not engage until probably the following week when I've released the other chapters as well, so that I don't let the noise channel me to where they want me to go. Yeah. So I've worked around it, like all this time. I've tried this. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to engage with everyone, but then the engagement are nicer. And then I would wait, or maybe I would write 3 chapters before I post the chapter, and then engage, knowing that the other chapter is ready. I'll just post, or I schedule them so that I've got the same time of posting, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 o'clock. So I schedule them for maybe the 2 weeks, and then I become a reader and engage with everyone and laugh it off, laugh at everyone who's complaining. And then others will say, no, I'm done with this story. And I know I'm also a reader. I get frustrated by a character. So I'm like, okay, no, it's okay. You come back when you're ready, or, it's okay. This one is not for you, because not everybody will love your work. Yeah.
Talk to us about the different ways of publishing. So you've done this very unusual Facebook publishing. What other ways have you been published? We couldn't agree when we were talking about it before. We weren't clear. And have you been traditionally published? Have you done a self-publication where you don't do the Facebook thing first, you just go straight to self-publication? Talk to us about the different forms and what you like about them.
Okay. Yeah, I did all three. I did traditional publishing. I did, started from Facebook, and then I also did others out of Facebook. I love the traditional publishing because obviously they do everything for you. All you do is just to read and agree and change here where they say, okay, change here. And then everybody do the work, and then like you just show up, and then
Well, you still have to write the book.
Yeah, you know the book. Okay, writing is easy. I feel like writing is easy for me. It's easy because that is it's like a hobby. So that part is fine. And then with everything else, I found that with the traditional publisher, they've got the resources, they've got the muscle, they've got all the monies. So it's easier. It's like, I found it very easy. And then I think the mistake that I did was still being that self-published author who did the work. Like, I wanted to work. Let's market. So I did not relax just because I'm traditionally published. And then maybe at that point, I didn't experience the full, what's the word? I didn't enjoy the fruits of being traditionally published because I still wanted to do the work. And also when my readers wanted the pre-orders, I still had to okay, I'm going to order the books for you. I'm going to sign for you. I'm going to package them for you. So I still did the works as well. But I felt like, okay, because the money was there was, the muscle was there. So it was easy. With Facebook writing, finish the book, obviously you go back and rework on it, but it's the same as self-publishing because now I need to have the actual book. Now I need to have the money to get the editors, to get the proofreaders, to get the printing. And then you see the printing code is like a price of a car. And you're like, am I going to be able to do this? There's distribution as well. There's just a lot. But I felt that with all the work and the sacrifices that I did with the self-publishing, I also reaped a lot back, compared to getting a portion of royalties when everybody has done everything and then you just get the money. It's like, oh, this is all. Oh, okay. So whenever someone comes and say, okay, which one is better? Should I self-publish or should I traditionally publish? I'm like, okay. Also you need to see where are you now? Because now can you sell to 100 people? Where are you going to get 100 people? But with the traditional publisher, they're going to put you up there. They're going to, market your book. They're gonna, lift you up and show the world that we've got this person. And then if you're self-published, you might print 500 and then only have 50 buyers. So you choose your struggle. What do you want? Do you want to make money, and work hard? Okay. Then go for self-publishing. Do you want to be out there, put your work out there, be known, build your brand, take, your time in growing? Then the traditional publisher is there for you to take your hand and take you through everything.
Can you tell us about your covers? Because it seems to me that you have a strong branding with your covers. One can see that it's a Takalani M book. It's got a certain look to it. Now, how did you know how to do your first cover? Take us really into the weeds of doing a cover for a book. Are you doing shoots? Are you doing publicly available images? What sort of costs are involved? And how have you kept that sort of strong, consistent branding with your covers throughout?
I had that in mind. what you said, that you can already see that this is a Takalani M book. That was the whole point. I wanted it to be that way. Okay, in all of this, I forgot to mention that my husband published my books. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He had to, at that time, he had to design for me because I'm like, where am I going to get a designer? Because he's a creative. He's like, oh, no, I'll do this for you. And then from the first book, we're like, okay, I'm going to get a chapter where I feel like, okay, it deserves to be on the cover. And then I will kind of paint a picture of what was happening. If it is just a couple standing there, there's a story of why they are there. And then now I'm going to go and look for, it's difficult because now everyone has their own character in mind, but then I would go and look for people who look like my characters in the book. And then I will have the whole team come, photographer, and then my husband will also be there to direct I will tell him, okay, this is the chapter that I'm thinking of. Let's try this or let's try that. And then we have the models who likely people are willing to do it for me. They're like, okay, can I please be on your next cover? I'm like, okay, okay, I'm going to keep you in mind. I'm writing your name. Whenever I have someone in my character who looks like you, I'm coming for you. So that is how I've been doing it. So then we will have the whole team. We will get a spot. I will look around for a spot where I feel like, okay, this looks like where the setting was. And then we would do the whole cover shoot, which is never easy. We know out of 200 photos, we're going to get one that I want for the book covers. And then with the font, I said that I'm going to keep my font for my name so that you know that this is Takalani. And then that is how I've done it throughout. We get a chapter from a book, and then we get a setting, we get the actors or the models or whatever, and then we shoot. And I even asked someone from publishing, and I'm like, why is everyone going to, with the love stories, they're going for illustrations. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, it's just a wave. It's just a wave. Because I'm like, do you want to go? Do I want to go there? I must move with the times. And so that I'm at that point. I'm like, okay, do we go illustration? Do we keep these? Do we do that? But I wanted when someone walks into a bookstore, they know, okay, before they even see the name, these must be Takalani M. So that was the whole intention.
Now let's talk about that name. You've done this very unusual thing of having a first name and a letter instead of a whole name. Yes. Talk to us about that.
Okay, when I wanted to release my book, when I started my Facebook page, my husband and I were getting ready to get into the marriage. And it's my surname, Muchinyani M. It starts with an M. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to put Takalani Muchinyani. And then when I get married, luckily he's an M as well. He's a machete. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get married, and then Takalani Muchinyani. Am I going to keep my name? Am I going to be Takalani Machete, but my books will be Takalani Muchinyani? Am I going to change from Muchinyani to Machete? And I'm like, you know what? No, I don't want to change anything. So I'm just going to keep it to Takalani M. If you want to say it's a Takalani Machete for my husband, it's fine. If it's Takalani Muchinyani from my family, it's still fine. So, and then I also wanted something that is easy to the tongue, Takalani M. I wanted a brand. I was thinking bigger. I was thinking not just books, anything. It'll be like a Takalani M. So then I kept it, and I'm like, okay, we're going to go with it. It's unusual. Everyone wants their surname to be known. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. But I'm thinking brand. So Takalani M. It's easy. It's going to be easy on the logos. It's going to be easy on everything. So then I stick to Takalani M.
That's so interesting. That is so not what I was expecting.
What are you expecting?
I thought it was going to be, you know how as a writer you make up stories when you think of a question and then you make up a story. Yeah. And my story I'd made up for you was that it was to do with your job, and that you didn't want your employers to know that you were writing these books. Yeah, I'd made up a full story about it.
That is so cool. No, my employer had to know because we must declare other remunerative outside of work. So I couldn't hide it because obviously if I'm going to have pictures at the back of my book, or if I'm going to be asked for an interview, or if they see a podcast, hidden lives with writers, and then there's Takalani speaks, then I'm not going to hide it. So we must declare our remunerative outside of work. So no, it was not for that. I was just not sure. Should I use my husband's name or my name? Do I want my surname? Do I want to change it later? And I'm like, oh, no. And then they're long. How am I going to design a logo? And I'm like, no, we'll keep it to Takalani M.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you've written the book and you've done the cover shoot and chosen the image. What else is involved, and how much of it do you outsource and how much of it do you control yourself? So I'm talking about the editing, the layout, the printing, the distribution, the marketing, all these steps that, you can hand over to a traditional publisher and they'll do it all for you, but then you get that tiny proportion of the profits. But talk us through that, getting a book from manuscript stage to being on the shelves at exclusive books. What is involved? How much have you got direct control over, and how much are you outsourcing?
Okay. The editing, the proofreading, outsourced. There are hybrid publishers who can do that for you. So that part I outsource. And then after that, the layout, I can lay out a book. Also my husband does the layout. And the printing, or what I did with the printing, we would go to exclusive books or wherever, and then we'd just take books, like the books that I would like my books to look like. Then I would take those books and then we'll sit down and then we'll see, like on the info page there, who prints, who's a printer, and then who's these, where do we go from here? So I will get the information from the info page. So the printing will get the printers, and then now, I didn't know it cost a fortune to print. Now it makes sense why the books are very expensive. Yeah, the printing is the most difficult, with the finances. So the printing, you look for the printer, you shop around with everything, obviously.
So you're getting quotes.
Yeah, we're getting quotes everywhere. Like, okay, who's cheaper? And then the more you print, the lesser the price. So those things we had to learn all along. If you print 200 copies, you are going to save if you printed 500. If you print 2,000 copies, it would have been, it's easier to print 2,000 financially because now, the price per unit will go down. So we had to shop around until we got one, printer that we're printing with. And then with the distribution, we're distributing the books from that first distribution that we did, the company was born, and then now we can distribute to everywhere. And luckily, obviously, I've made the name, the brand is there already, so they're waiting for the books. People are waiting for the books. Even in the stores, they're like, okay, Takalani is released. What's next? And then, so they are kinda waiting for the book. So it's easier for the sales reps, for our sales reps to go there and sell the book to the bookstores, because they're ready to order.
Our sales reps, talk to us about that. Do you have a team of sales reps?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because now it's not only my books that we're distributing. Okay. It is also other authors who want distribution. So now when we have a catalog, then we're going to go to the bookstores and say, okay, can you please, can we put this in the bookshelf? It's in Trust a book. This is what it's all about. So we've got sales reps who do that. And then, so the distribution to the bookstores will go to, we are mainly in bargain books and exclusive books and all Van Skyke, all the other books. I think CNA, there was trouble with CNA for all the authors.
For everyone.
Everyone in South Africa, but we used to be a CNA as well. And then what else is there? I think the book is at the bookstores now, waiting to be bought. So yeah. So it's only the editing and the proofreading that we would outsource. And then everything else, we've got the muscle to do. Yes.
And then the next thing that happens, and I'm very curious about this because like you, I have a full-time day job, and the reason I would never self-publish is because I don't feel like I could market a book because it's hard. How do you go about marketing that book, given that you're working from 8 to 4:30 on another job?
Yes.
And then writing, and then children, and where's the marketing happening?
And it's the most
And how?
difficult, and that is the most difficult part of the whole thing. Remember, I built a community for the past 8 years. So I have about 100 and something followers on Facebook.
100 and something thousand
followers. Okay. So 100,000 followers on Facebook. So it is easy for me to, when the book is out, I would take pre-orders because I want to make the money back. So I would open the pre-orders for everyone. First, we start there on Facebook. Okay, guys, there's a new book coming. It's going to be out in July. Pre-orders are going to open from June to wherever. Everyone who wants the book before I take the books to the bookstores. Here is the chance. And then I would open that up, and then I would get like a lot.
That's a lot.
A lot is like 500 books that I have to sign before I take the books to the bookstores. Then I know, okay, I've made back the printing money. I've made back the project money. But it's too much work because now there's no sleeping. Now I must package 500 books individually. Yes. And then now others are starting with the other books as well. So it's quite a lot. But because I have a vision of I want to be a full-time writer one day. And then which means that I must put all the hard work now and then I will reap later. So I would rather not have weekends. I would put in the work. I would rather not watch Netflix. I would rather work because I know in the future, I don't want to go to work. I will have that 8 hours to be writing books, so that is the point, the whole vision that I have. So because of that community, it's easy for me to spread. And also when I'm writing, I also write because now then if I'm attaching pictures to my stories and then they are being shared, then someone will be like, oh, this looks interesting. Can I buy all the books that you've written? Or when someone reads the first book or the 8th book, then they start from the beginning. Okay, I like this book. So can I please go back and read everything that you've written? So I think it's because of word of mouth, also the sharing on Facebook and interviews and stuff. It's not easy because I'm working and, I can't always be asking for time off at work. Can I please go do an interview on TV? Can I go do an interview on radio? So I hardly do those. But I've got a community on Facebook where they've held my hand for the past 7 years, 8 years. Yes.
And are you doing ebooks?
I've done on Kindle, we've done about maybe 4 about 4. Because I felt like some books I would need to maybe do second editions or something like that. And then I would put them up. Yeah. But it's something that everyone is asking for ebooks. Yeah. People have been asking for ebooks, and then, I promise that I will put the rest of the books. Yeah. But I think I have about 4 on ebook.
And audiobooks?
Audiobook not yet.
But you'd like to do it.
I would like to have an ebook. Because I've heard, I think Angela Makolo's most work. Yeah, I've listened to Angela's books on audio, and I'm like, no, this is nice. I would love to have that, but I've heard that it's not cheap to have it done. So, but God willingly, very soon I should have one book on audiobook.
There is some talk, and I don't know if we're allowed to feel happy about this or not, but that AI might be solving the cost of audiobooks. I don't know if we're allowed to. I don't know. I'm sorry for you voice artists that we're stealing your work, but I have heard this is going to be one solution to make it more affordable, but probably then lacking the nuance and passion that a human voice would bring.
Yes, and also the I've seen on Audible, people will be like, the AI is not as good as it. Like you would want the reader to portray the feelings and things like this. So I don't know how it's going to work.
And I'm also thinking, for your books, you probably wouldn't want a generic English accent.
And exactly. And then also because I also write in Vernac in the book.
Yes.
So I can't imagine an AI reading.
Reading blend of all languages.
It'll be crazy. So no. I think even with AI, we still need those actors. We still need, the human touch and the human feel. Yeah.
So it seems to me that one of your big strengths is your marketing. And I've noticed that you do seasonal marketing. Like when it's Valentine's Day, there's a Valentine's combo special.
Yes.
And it almost seems like you're marketing more to men there to sort of gift the lady in their life kind of thing.
Yes.
So how do you manage that seasonal marketing? Do you plot it out the year in advance?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would know Valentine's. The wives will send hubby to buy them these books for Valentine's. So I know I should have that. And then I know sometimes, Women's Month, Mother's Day, all those things where I know that I just want everyone to gift the woman, and these women love books. So I structure them like in that way. And then Christmas, obviously, when someone wants to gift someone, why don't you give them a book? It would be cool to have a book for a Christmas gift. So I would know, okay, the next one I would, personalize gifts to go with the package and make it nice, make it like a gift set in a way. So that is how I market, so that, I keep the marketing going. And also, even if I don't get like a lot of buyers in that short period of time, like I'm making people aware that, okay, no, there might be another special very soon. So I must just watch out. So they keep on coming, and then, okay, I'm waiting for Mother's Day special. Do you have something? And then I go, okay, yes, let's do this. So I just keep them coming on randomly sometimes. Just saying, okay, let's, things are expensive. So let's do the combos. It's easier to buy 2 books. And then it's better for me when someone buys 2 books. So then I reduce the price for 2 books, and then the combos are there. Why don't you buy all 8 books? You don't have to come back every time and pay for courier. So I just have the combos roll throughout the year. Yeah. And then make them special on occasions. Like the way I know that I'm gonna, maybe personalize them, or maybe make nice wrapping, nice, cute, sets for them. But other than that, I always have the combos throughout the year. Yes, because I know, like, obviously with the bookstores, if the books I had to get them to all the bookstores, because obviously some people don't want to buy something before they see it. But we know that with the bookstore, sometimes if the book is there for 3 months, they're like, okay, let's take it back to the owner. And then they're going to order it again. And then that whole process wants me to also push also my own sales, because I know I've got these books like here, I have them. And then,
So I'm going to ask you the question we always ask, which is, what have you been listening to or reading or watching lately? Do you read the same kind of books that you write? Is that what you enjoy?
Yeah. Yes, I do. And then my husband complains. You have a bookshelf of books, and then you're buying books every day, and then you're not reading them, because I'm thinking, okay, let me buy this book, I'll read it. But now when I see a romance book, then I go to romance books. But recently I've joined a book club because I wanted to read everything and not just romance. So I joined a book club, and everything is going well. And recently I've been reading, is it Api Dare from Nigeria?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my word. Like, I am amazed by her work. I didn't know that I can enjoy anything other than romance. I've read the Girl with the Louding Voice, and also the sequel. Is it and So I Roar. It was because of the book club that I had to read those books, because I'm always on romance, and then because right now I'm writing I try not, because I listen to romance too much, I try not to listen or to read, because I don't want to take the other author's voice or to be kind of channeled. So I've not been reading romance for that reason, because I'm writing, but because of the book club I had to read. And then now I've for these 2 past months I've been reading Abidare, and wow. Now I'm open to read anything. And
I think Nigerian writers, when they get it right, God, they get it right. It's their voices are so beautiful.
It's raw. Like it's amazing. And also I didn't think I was going to enjoy also the pidgin English that they use. In the first chapters, like it was all pidgin English, and I'm like, is this how we're gonna read the whole book? And then only to realize that no, it is the voice of the character. That's how she speaks and that's how she sounds. So then you must also get into her world and feel what she feels and talk like her and feel like her and see things that she sees. So wow, I was amazed. It was amazing. I was amazed.
Well, Takalani, we as authors struggle with this issue where when we have a new release, it's there on the shelves for a while, and then after 4 or 5 months, it's gone. It's disappeared off the shelves. But I've noticed that when I go to exclusive books anywhere in the country, your books are there on the shelves. Not just the new release, but all of them. And they are there and they are prominent. So we know they are selling well.
Oh, thank you.
And we wish you nothing but the best for the future.
Thank you,
and
Fiona.
Good luck with this pitch that you're working on now. I'm sure we'll be hearing more about it in the future.
Yes.
And we hope that everybody, if there's anybody in the audience who doesn't already know your work, we hope they check it out. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you so much, Gail.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was exciting. Thank you.
Gail, these words keep going round and round in my mind. 2,500 words a day, starting at 8:30 at night when you are exhausted from what sounds like the most overwhelming day. How did that make you feel?
Honestly, as I said to you, it made me feel I had to go lie down and have a nap. It's extraordinary. I can't even speak. It's so extraordinary. I can't get my head around it.
It reminds me of that old thing of, if you want something done, ask a busy person to do it.
That's very interesting that you say that, because when she talked about wanting to become a full-time writer, and I thought, are you going to be as productive if you're a full-time writer? And I didn't want to say it because actually she's a person I think will. She is so full of energy. She is so driven. She is so focused. And just being with her, you absorb that energy and that. I felt a bit old for once, actually. like, do I still have the potential for this energy? I think she will, but I did wonder if this is a case of the busy person will get it done.
And the other thing that struck me is that when she sits down at 8:30 at night to write those 2,500 words, she's looking forward to it. That is her happy place and her happy time. Her joy is in those words. It's not this tedious chore that she still needs to get done before she can go to bed. She's saying to her husband, oh, go and watch your soccer, go and watch your show. I want to be alone with my writing time now. And I think that it's the joy that feeds those words.
And it does make one wonder, have we lost that joy, that it's feeling a bit like a task? How does, and I spoke about it at the beginning, that I'm struggling with finding that flow, finding that pleasure. I get back into it and then I lose it. How does one plug into that joy again?
I think it's as simple as just reminding yourself, this is my dream. This is the thing that I love doing more than I love doing anything else. It is a privilege to be able to sit down now and play with my favorite toy, which is writing, and just tap into that enthusiasm and that joy, and the words will come.
It also, I very much took out, she has such a busy day, but she doesn't go, oh, I'm so busy, I'm not going to do this. And I think I need constant reminding that the day does have gaps in it, and the day does have time, and that you just have to be looking for those gaps and not schlumping around in those gaps. And I think I say it every week. I feel like I'm a broken record about this at the moment, but I need that constant reminder. Fill up your day. Everybody has got time. And I'm the most intolerant person of a person who goes, I would write a book, but I don't have the time. And now I'm kind of doing that a little bit in my own head, and she's reminded me. You can fit it in a busy day.
Yeah, very interesting. And I was also intrigued by the idea that she's putting together a pitch for a traditional publisher now, which is an experience she's had before for one book. And it makes you really think, what can a traditional publisher offer somebody who's got their own distribution network, their own sales reps actively putting their books out there? For somebody like that, what can traditional publishing offer you?
It's a really good question, because I, for the first time, and we've spoken to other self-published writers, and I am very clear in my mind that traditional publishing works for me. That is the framework that works for somebody like me who has a full-time job. And for the first time today, I felt myself going, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe there is something in this self-publishing, even if you're a busy person. Maybe I should be thinking about it. So, it's going to be very interesting to watch the choices she makes over the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. And we will be watching with great enthusiasm, along with her many, many, many tens of thousands of fans who are out there. So if you are familiar with Takalani M's books, with her Facebook page, with her marketing strategies, if you have tried self-publishing, if you've moved between traditional and self-publishing, please drop us a line. We want to hear about it. We're on all social media across the board, and we'd love to hear from you.
You've been listening to another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.